Vigilo or Vigilo event. After completing chapter 9, some people were telling me to check out Vigilo, which I was like, oh snap, I forget about these story collections, I should say, that also tie into the storyline. And initially I did start reading it through the files. I was planning to react to that, but then I was looking up, I was like, wait, hold up, this is 2.5 hours. I'm not about to record 2.5 hours of me reading something. Yeah, I was planning to actually do a recording reading to that, but I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I read a lot of it on my own. I said, hey, let me at least, because I do want to have some content up for the channel, just talking about my thoughts on Vigilo. When I go through Frosty Bits series on this, giving us a little simplified version of it, also recap myself on some stuff that I may not be following. I think I'm following everything pretty well. Usually just me overthinking stuff. Also, this event looked like it was really fun. I was looking at the boss fights. I was like, what? You get to fight some former boss, you get to fight these two again, fight Frost Nova again, and this looks like this was just crazy. Y'all let me know how this was for some of y'all playing this in the past. I always like hearing how some of these events for some of y'all. I wish I could play. I wish that they got to save the story collection stages.
Vigilo event is finally here.
Yeah!
The story of this event is
Vigilo!
The Doctor, Amy Blaze and some others are in Colombia.
Okay.
Rhodes Island held a technical exchange with other company. An officer from Mama John's cooperation wanted to retail the newly developed
An alternate reality where Papa John's is Mama John's, aka Arknights.
Amy declined because the drug is still
Supreme
on
Leader
trials and
Amia,
not yet
that's
ready
right.
to commercialize. Not going to let the opportunity slip away. Being a scummy cooperation and all. Mama John's hired mercenaries to take the drug sample.
Mama John's is shady.
Amy and the Doctor left in a car.
Okay.
While the
Who's
others
driving?
dealing with the mercenaries. But surprisingly, the mercenaries managed to take all of the drugs.
Surprisingly, yeah. It got one over Blaze.
Amy and the Doctor were being chased by other mercenaries. The car autopilot system fails.
Oh, it's
autopilot off
okay.
the cliff.
I was like, I can't imagine Amia
Both
driving.
of them survive, but
I
ended
thought
up
you
in
have
a
amnesia, so.
wasteland without vehicle. Then they met a merchant traveling around the wasteland.
Welcome.
I'm sorry, wrong game. They met Cannot.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Three of them then start traveling through the wasteland to that outpost. Along
You know,
the way,
this background always cracks me up with that random TV. Like, I don't know. It's
interesting
funny.
trivia about Amy's survival skill that she learned from the Doctor in the past, and about a bunch of mercenaries dwelling in the wasteland
training,
called
okay.
Rusthammer. The Doctor also keep having a vague memory about the past, and wondering about what kind of person the Doctor was before amnesia.
That must be crazy though, like thinking back on like what kind of person you were pre like he's like, man, I'm me right now, but I was also someone else. But I don't remember that someone else, but everyone else does remember. That's scary. Have you ever seen that movie Memento? And anyways,
Later,
one of my favorite movies.
After that, Cannot shows them something.
What are you gonna show us?
Company employee from Mama John's were distributing an neuropathy suppressant to the Colombian infected worker and wasteland pioneer.
Interesting.
Few are given for free, while others for commercial sale. But after a closer look, those things are not neuropathy suppressant at
that's
all.
messed up.
The infected were being deceived with some generic painkillers.
That's messed up. That's messed up. And then they're
Mama
gonna come
John
back for
stole.
more. Haha.
And then we
Nice.
know about what the Doctor was planning. Basically, the Doctor will go to the Colombian customs
Go
and
to
tell
jail.
that Rhodes Island smuggled neuropathy-related drugs to Colombia. The
that's so
government
funny.
quickly seized the evidence, and Mama John's was forced to destroy all evidence regarding this
Yeah,
event.
that's what's
The
up.
Doctor got a sweet jail time for 4 days.
I don't know. It's too
Rhodes
funny.
Island must pay a fine.
It was pretty fine. Hey,
But in the
that's
end,
better than
Everything
nothing,
went
right?
well.
It could have gone
Except
worse.
for the part that the Doctor must explain this to Kelsert.
Why she got Monster Hello? Like,
That should be all.
that should be all for
Adios.
now. Hey, don't shoot me. Part 2 Memoria, though. We start off with Doctor's questioning about his past self. Now we're going to get to the memory side.
One day in Rhodes Island landship, Kelsey was examining the Doctor.
Oh,
And said that the
one-on-one?
Doctor indeed didn't faking his amnesia. The Doctor's skill that he had once before.
That would have been wild, because I remember that something someone brought up at one point, like, hey, what if he's faking it the whole time? It's like, that would be pretty wild.
But the Doctor's mental condition is still unstable, and still don't recover much of his memory. Kelsey tells the Doctor to not overwork himself. and then tells him to get back to work. That's really something. Although not explicitly saying it. But Kelsey cares about the doctor.
Yeah, she does care. Oh, you actually care? She has a hard way of showing it, but she does care. What's that little glint in your eye? Is that a little bit of care?
Spirit warns them about the potential catastrophe that might hit Rhodes Island.
That's not good.
And it turns out a catastrophe really hits the land ship.
Damn.
Unable to retreat, and staying
I
put
remember
is
this.
also not the best
His,
option. The doctor came up with an interesting formula and calculate the safest path through the storm.
That's really wild.
Throttle,
like over here calculating to go through a storm and whatnot.
Seems risky, but Rhodes Island managed to pass through the catastrophe.
Everyone's like, how did you do that?
Later, Doctor met Cal sit in his room.
Oh, what's Cal doing in my room? Are you in my room? What you? Let me stop playing around.
And tells the doctor that the formula he used was one that Doctor invented in the past. Meaning that the doctor still remembers about his knowledge.
He just doesn't know why he or where he got that knowledge from as organ researcher. That's really cool.
The doctor asked Kelsey if she wanted the doctor's memory to recover. Kelsey hasn't concealed her hatred towards the doctor in the past. And rather hearing it from the doctor himself, whether he wants his memory back or not. Once the doctor's memory back, many questions will be answered.
Yep.
However, not all of them will be satisfying to hear.
I'm pretty sure I know what they are, or at least what some of them are. Yeah, I don't think you want to. I don't know if you really want to know, Doctor, but
to become an operator, as her analysis helped the land ship surviving the catastrophe.
Oh, that's cool.
The doctor welcomed her if she ever wanted to talk about anything regarding Originium. And he just said that seeing the doctor work hard, there's no reason for her to giving up on her goal to become a
that's
researcher.
Wholesome. Okay, I didn't know this when she actually joins and whatnot.
That should be all.
Or at least one.
Adios.
Let's a little back. Oh, adios. Valorem. Oh yeah, past operators, R.I.P. The Goat Squad.
The story starts with the doctor having a flashback before the fall of Babel.
Okay, before the fall. Okay.
We see Scout and Ace arguing over some kind of red industrial box device. Ace bet with Scout that it's just nothing but scraps.
Are you sure about that, Ace?
Betting it was something important.
Oh.
The doctor walks
Ace
in
is wise, so
and promised to look into it later. Together.
Interesting. Together. Hey, he said together because we're family.
The doctor went to a warehouse in the land ship. He met Beagle, who was cleaning Ace's shield that was
Yo, reading up on her file and how she respected Ace and whatnot, I was like, hey, that's really wholesome. That's kind of nice. And her goal trying to reach that level.
Reminiscing about Ace.
Yo, when are we going to get an alt Beagle? I guess we'll find out whenever they reveal something that happened in the past with the fallout of their whole squad or whatever. If she's alive or not. I think Beagle's still alive.
The doctor that
That'd be kind of sad if they just revealed
and always spare his
not.
time to train newbies. And she wanted to become the kind of person just like him.
Ah, man.
Sounds like a foreshadowing.
No,
the doctor
they do show him older. Or this the skin shows her older, right? No, Beagle, you're alive. You're alive. I'm gonna be hopeful.
Before leaving, the doctor spotted a red industrial device from before.
Okay.
The story shifts to W.
Okay.
Having a little conversation with I guess her friend in the land ship boiler room. After parting ways, W encounter Ascalon, an old member of Babel and Rhodes Island elite operator.
I was like when they mentioned the operators
said it's time
and they don't
for
show
both of them to go to Victoria. And from here, we got a concrete info that Inez is still alive.
That's true because last time they showed that she was fighting and where was it, Chernobog, and then she was dead or unconfirmed. It was like, dang, is Inez dead or alive? And I was like, I know she's an operator, so she's alive, but okay, but for to be all reading this in the past, it was unconfirmed until now.
Later, Amy told us about the industrial device from before. The doctor, Closure and Amy then trying to open the thing.
We got Closure here too?
After successfully opening it, the device pops up a beer. And
it was just like vending machine. Oh, that's funny.
Remembering the bet between Ace and Scout,
the
doctor then puts the beer beside Ace's shield. That should be all.
Okay, we're gonna do it together.
Adios.
They got me feeling feels right now, dude. Cogitatio.
The story takes place before the fall of Babel and around Arknight Memoir in Kazdel.
Okay.
Teresa,
Thank you for giving me the timeline.
Sarcasm leader of
I mean,
Babel,
yeah, she's here. Well,
learns about the Doctor from Kelsey.
no.
She wishes to meet the Doctor and become her
Okay,
advisor.
so it's before she met Interesting,
Sometime
okay.
skip later. Casdal is on a civil war between Teresa and her brother Teresis.
Teresis, you suck.
Babel is on the risk of getting sieged. Without any options left, Babel must retreat out of Casdal.
Man.
Days later, on the Casdal border, the Doctor is attacked by a Sarkaz soldier.
Dang, what, out of
But
nowhere?
Scout walks in just in time to prevent the
Oh,
assassination.
there was an assassination attempt!
Blamed the Doctor and Kelsey because he thinks they are manipulating Teresa to get out from Casdal. But turns out in this difficult time, the Sarkaz is losing his faith with Her Majesty and blaming it on the two outsiders.
Yeah.
Teresa and Kelsey walks in. Marco is on desperation and not even dare to look at Teresa.
Oh.
Scout
makes
suggests
sense.
Marco should be punished for his betrayal.
But this
by
one he
this
gets
it
given
means
an
a death
opportunity to work
sentence.
in the boiler room?
But first Teresa wanted to hear the Doctor's opinion. The Doctor unexpectedly suggesting that Marco should be exiled. But Kelsey opposed the Doctor's idea. She said a traitor shouldn't be let free. And Teresa shouldn't let her tolerances become her weakness.
Oh snap.
Teresa then demands Marco to be detained. And let Ascalon decide his punishment.
Oh, okay.
To avoid embarrassing his king, the traitor committed suicide. Teresa asked the Doctor's opinion again about
I guess
Babel's
you're not the
action to
boiler worker
relocate
later
its
on.
position.
They said say he was
And
more
she
so
said that she
W.
truly trusts the Doctor. That should
go back with
Teresa
that.
ask the Doctor opinion again about Babel's action to relocate its position. And she said that she truly trusts the Doctor.
That I mean, I don't know the whole story, but I know something happens. I know something happens, but I don't know the implications as to why well, I could connect dots, of course, but
That should be all.
man,
Adios.
you fully trust the Doctor. Why you gotta say that? Is that sad? Anterior.
The story starts with Corset and Doctor at the Rhodes Island deck.
That we always
having
be
a nice
spending
conversation.
spending a lot of time with Cal. You know, this was a nice story collection, huh? Even though it goes to the past, which is kind of
Story
tragic. It
starts with
seems.
Corset and Doctor at the Rhodes Island deck, having a nice conversation.
Oh.
And remembering various things in
Reminiscing, okay.
the past. Scout reported about his mission failures, which is a rare occurrence.
Yeah, for real,
His
man.
squad
What
found
happened?
the traces of enemy troops. He made a decision to follow the trace, but ended up being ambushed.
Huh?
Scout is willing to take the army's punishment. But the Doctor said Scout deserved recognition rather than punishment.
Yeah, man. You say you rarely mess up, and for you to mess up once, you're ready. Yeah, everyone's alive. Okay, everyone made it back alive. That's good.
At the end, the Doctor pats Scout on the shoulder and said no one will be punished. Scout take his leave.
He said, "It's okay, bro."
And promised to value the life and reputation of himself and his squad.
Respect.
Shifting back to the present day, still on the deck. Kelsey talks about Closure and the plan for Rhodes Island to go to Victoria. She
Okay.
mentioned that Closure is a potential combat operator.
That ties into everything connecting to the ending of chapter 9 then. Okay.
The story shift again
Closure
to the
operator
time where
when,
Kelsey,
you know?
the Doctor and some other personnel help
Probably not into the
transporting
finale
patients
of
to other
Arknights,
temporary
whenever that will
locations
be.
outside of the landship. Because for God knows what Rhodes Island will encounter in Victoria.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I know that currently she's actually an operator. So I'm actually really curious what's about to happen with that. Like what's going to happen with the whole Victoria arc, how that's going to evolve, and how she's eventually going to turn around or something. So golly, that's going to
Teresa's
be.
weary face then flashed a smile of relief when she saw a young Amia.
Hey, I'm
Amia worried about Ascalon leaving for a mission away from Babel. Her Majesty assured Damia that there's nothing to be worried about. But unknown to them, a calamity will soon come. The story back to the present
calamity
day.
soon. Oh, okay.
Kelsey suddenly asked the Doctor what it means to be alive.
Oh,
The
that was like a
Doctor
little
said
heart
to
to
be
heart
alive
moment.
is to be free. But Kelsey said that freedom is not free. And said that ever since the Doctor came out,
What was
but
that?
Kelsey said that freedom is not free. And
Sadly.
said that ever since the Doctor came out from
Ironically.
sarcophagus, the Doctor barely had any choices.
That's true.
Kelsey asked again to the Doctor, what is it the Doctor fighting for? The game give us 3 different choices.
I'm fighting against my destiny. I fight for Rhodes Island. I fight to protect this world. I mean, currently we're fighting for Rhodes Island, which by fighting with Rhodes Island, we're kind of protecting this world.
Course it will tells you to not forget about your choice.
Okay.
That should be all. Adios.
Adios, he ain't shooting me this time. It's honestly scary and so cool to see the Doctor talk by himself. Really drives home that he is an entirely different person and not you, the player. As he should. Or she. Oh, hold up. What's that image? Oh! Yep, Priestess.
The story starts with Closure inspecting PRTS, a Rhodes Island AI, and Doctor Assistant. PRTS is a very complex, or should I say a very mysterious AI. Closure and PRTS have some chat.
Yeah, I've always been wondering about that. Because I've always noticed that ever since I've done, when you do the auto deploy on the stage, you know, it says PRTS, I'm like, what's that mean? What's that mean? Mysterious, they haven't mentioned it here. Interesting.
A simulation program for sarcophagus rescue mission. From the many number of simulations.
And when I was thinking about that the other day, I was like, PRTS, I was like, Priestess. You know, the word, the PRTS kind of, it's like embedded within them same words, but that could be another word too. It could be pretentious. I don't know.
Closure then talks about her past before joining Babel.
Okay, wait, that little Closure past.
Closure, real name Ada Church.
Ada Church.
Came from an ancient bloodline.
You do look like an Ada. Or Ada? The last name Church, though. And you're a vampire, too?
A Sarkaz vampire from Kesdal. And had a talent for the vampire bloodline arts technique. But as you might expect, she is a rebellious person.
Yep, I expect
and
that.
To do unorthodox things in her family. One day,
The
Her
famous
Majesty
hacker.
Teresa barged into her place. She was looking for someone to break the shackles of tradition. And for that she needed an engineer for her plans. Her Majesty didn't even convince Closure or anything. But Closure agreed to join.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Closure then
That's
talks more
funny.
things about the Doctor. How the Doctor have changed after sarcophagus rescue mission.
Okay.
And how the Doctor himself brought change to Rhodes Island. Some text later, Closure was about to leave. And surprised when she sees the Doctor in the room. Closure leave, and the Doctor talks to PRTS.
Ah.
The Doctor asks PRTS about who exactly is the priestess.
Yep, because as far as he knows, there was that flashback he had, and Cal was like, Cal looked shocked. It was like, whoa, you know what's scary? Cal making that face.
PRTS went silent for a moment. Then tells that the Doctor doesn't have the permission for the question to be answered.
What?
And surprisingly, no one else have it.
No one else.
PRTS load a video file, titled PRTS First Functional Test. And there we can see the Doctor, and someone who is believed to be the priestess. And after that, PRTS
It's interesting that she has the Rhodes Island logo on her back, too.
begins to shutting down. That should be all.
I don't know why I got like a little slight chills with that. I can say without a doubt, for a mobile game, Arknights' little world building story, it is amazing. It really is. It feels like Pertz is aware of the player and recognizes the player as the real Doctor. When in-game the Doctor has Pertz says it cannot answer the Doctor has insufficient permission. As soon as the Doctor left, it showed us the test. Stop, man! You're making this too wild. Like. Your question has been answered. Then then it goes, let's do that. And then you're kind of Doctor, the player's name. Top that off of the conversation. The Doctor has a broad range of. Sounds like we are body snatchers that control the Doctor. And you're making this whole thing gave me chills right here. Whoa! You made this mind bendy for me. Overall, though, really intriguing. I definitely want to read more on the I'm going to read through this again, probably a couple times. Yeah, okay, I've read up on this a little bit by accident. This was like in my early days of getting into Arknights. So I do know about the predecessors, a bit about it, but not too much. But yeah, Arknights Wiki, dangerous, man. It has some valuable information. I might ad block that up. Refresh that. Yeah, get that out of here. I don't want it. I do not want to see whatever the heck that was. That looked disgusting. But Arknights Wiki, a lot of valuable information, but also potential spoilers if you're not careful. So I feel like I get myself so engrossed in one thing. I start reading one thing and I'm like, oh man, what does this mean too? And I'm like, okay, hold up, Seku, rewind. So, I mean, overall, intriguing stuff as always. Always like getting more story, more context to the overall story and plot. Doctor as a character too is really interesting. I know that chapter 10, even the trailer right there, they showed Teresa again. I know there's something going on there with, I'm guessing, a clone of some sort or whatnot, because I remember in a previous part they had her in a pod, or at least they showed a little snippet. They didn't really show her completely, but I was like, what? Was that the ending of chapter 8? I forget which chapter that was. Her in a pod and stuff. I was like, oh, that's intriguing. Whatever's about to happen. Yeah, this little, the teaser they had, the teaser. I have to check out the trailer. I don't want to read too much on the trailer because now that I know context, I'm pretty intuitive. I feel like with connecting dots with trailers. I'm trying not to look at these because I'm gonna definitely connect dots and be like, oh, so that's what's gonna happen in this. I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's still the journey of actually reading through it, which I really enjoy. That I take the time to actually read the story, which I know that's something that other people enjoy. Seeing some of my reacts to some scenes, because I think it's part of the experience. I'm going to show gameplay. I might as well show the story too. It's my first time going through this, and I'm really into the story, and I like sharing my thoughts. And currently, I just want to see what's going to happen next. So. Yeah, I do plan on doing some live streams soon. Some of the side stories. I have been, like I said, I've been going through everything mainly in release date order. Well, most stuff in release date order. But yeah, I've basically been going through everything in order. I made like a whole doc and labeled everything in release date order and stuff. That's mainly what I've been doing for a lot of stuff. I need to catch through all the side stories. And I gotta read up the story collection. I've been procrastinating, but that's what I've been mainly doing, especially when it comes to intermezzies. When I first started Arknights, the first thing I got a lot of saying, well, my question was when I started was, what's the best way to go in order of things? And the best thing that a lot of people said, release date order. So I was like, hey, that makes sense. That makes logical sense, right? Go through everything on release date order. That's why I've been going through a lot of things outside of the side stories, which I'm glad to catch up to. I might be live streaming Code Brawl this weekend. I'll see. I'm wanting to live stream it. I'm going to live stream it. I might be this weekend. I'll see. Streaming Sunday, Saturday, one of those days. Main story stuff still going to be progressing. Finish chapter 9. So Babel, where's Babel? Babel right here. That came out before chapter. Yeah, because I played the stages, but I didn't read any of the story for it. Did I record anything for this? I don't recall if I recorded anything for this. I might have been playing this on my own. I don't think I recorded anything. Yeah. But I did play the stages. Stages complete, story not read. I know that there's a few people saying, no, you should check out Babel now. And I'm just like, is it really that important to check it out now and not later? Because I know that a lot of y'all have read it later than. So, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I'm always curious to see what your thoughts are. After I explain my reasoning behind why I'm planning not to do it yet, I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on say on that. So yeah, plan on live streaming some side story stuff. I read some more of these story collections on my own, because they look like they're really, I forget about them. Honestly, I forgot about them. And after my whole hiatus of not streaming for a while because of my old computer, I kind of lost track of some side story stuff. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have to say for now. See y'all later. Have a nice day. Peace and out.